Right, okay. Hello YouTube. This is the D.B.T Gamer Show. Episode 49. Now, today I'm going to review a video game that's extremely hard to find. This game is extremely rare, so getting hold of it these days is a bit difficult. This game is none other than War of the Worlds for the PlayStation. Now, War of the Worlds is extremely good musical and also an extremely good book. Although I haven't read the book, but I've heard the book's pretty good. It was also converted into 2 films. The very first film sucked, but the new version that Steven Spielberg directed was awesome. Now, is the game any good? Well, I suppose we should find out, really. Here we go. Okay, now I've got my sister's PS2 working. We can begin. Now, the War of the Worlds video game for the PS1, it's not bad. Anyway, let's move on to the story. The story for the War of the Worlds, if you haven't read the book, or seen the movie, or listened to the musical, where have you been for the past 40 years? Basically, the story of the War of the Worlds goes like this. A long time ago, on the planet Mars, there are these aliens called Martians, and these Martians decide to come to planet Earth and take over. And the story of War of the Worlds is basically the struggle between the Martians and the humans, basically a struggle between the Martians and the humans, and how the war broke out between them, where the Martians tried to take over. One thing I really love about this game is that they use audio from the musical, and they use Jeff Wayne's voice.
As someone with a microscope studies creatures that swarm and multiply with lots.
Next, let's move on to cutscenes and graphics. Now, this is the opening cutscene for the game. Just watch this. Now, look how good this looks. I mean, this looks fantastic for the PS1.
With envious eyes. And slowly and surely they drew their path against us.
I'd hit you on that train. Oh dear, that looks good. And there it is, in all its glory, the alien tripod. The Martian's tripod, I mean. So, as you can tell, the cutscenes look pretty solid. Now, let's take a look at our newer cutscene, where I will show you one small problem, which I have found. Right, when you start off a new game without putting a password in, yes, that's right, this game uses a password system to load its levels. Now look at this cutscene.
Good morning. Good morning, sir.
Now, have you noticed what's wrong with it? Any ideas yet? Take a look.
Gentlemen, we are at war.
In case you haven't noticed, the characters in this game, when they speak their words, the characters barely move their mouths. This also happens in very old Resident Evil games. So in this game, the characters, when they talk in cutscenes, they don't move their mouths at all. Anyway, let's move on to the game itself. Let's move on to controls. First thing, before we get into controls, the loading times in this game are they're not that slow, they're pretty quick. Anyway, back to the controls of this game. The controls of this game work quite well. Let me explain them to you. The left thumbstick on your PlayStation controller moves your vehicle. The X one is your throttle, square button breaks. You also use the arrow button to make up. Sorry, you can also use the arrow button to make your vehicle move. The L2 button brings up your map. The R button makes your gun fire. The start button brings up your pause screen and also your mission objective if you go down to the right thing. Select button, if it's the square button, that makes you reverse and brake. Okay. Next let's talk about the music in this game. The music in this game has been taken directly from the War of the Worlds universe, and most of it sounds a lot like the CD, which is really good. The tracks that are featured in this game from the CD are The Spirit of Man, Brave New World, Eve of the War, Red Weed, Hostile Common, the Eve of the War remix, the Fighting Machine, and that's it. There are only 7 music tracks in the game, and most of them are pretty good. Although they haven't included my favourite track from the entire CD, the Thundershower song. But I'll get onto that later. Now I'm very sorry YouTube, but I've run out of time, so please join me in part 2 my review of Jeff Wayne's War of the Worlds to the PS1, where I will continue reviewing this game. Until then YouTube, bye bye.